Hello friends, today we will hear about a unique nation in history, where farmers, workers and hard-working common people fought against one of the world's superpowers, America, and won that war. Yes friends, you guessed it right, today we will talk about the Vietnam War. The Vietnam War is a bloody and long-lasting chapter in the pages of history. Why did the internal conflict of a small country bring the two superpowers of the world face to face? Today we will know the real reasons behind the Vietnam War. The 1950s. The world was then divided into two parts, America on one side, and the Soviet Union on the other. This period is called the Cold War. But the impact was all over the world. But Vietnam was under France at that time. When the French wanted to take control again after World War II, the Vietnamese, led by Ho Chi Minh, resisted. After the defeat of the French in 1954, Vietnam was divided into two parts by the Geneva Accords. North Vietnam, supported by the Communists, and South Vietnam, supported by the West. North Vietnam wanted to unify the entire country. And America was afraid. If Vietnam became communist, it would spread throughout Asia. This is called the domino theory. The main fuel of the Vietnam War was the Cold War at that time. On one side was the Soviet Union and China, who supported North Vietnam, and on the other was the United States, who supported South Vietnam. It was basically a fight between socialism and capitalism.
The entry of America. America did not start the war directly at the beginning. They were just helping South Vietnam, with money, weapons, and military advisors. But the situation quickly deteriorated, so the United States was forced to intervene in the war. The then American government had a fear called the domino theory. They believed that if Vietnam fell to the communists, other countries in Southeast Asia such as Laos, Cambodia, and Thailand would also fall under socialism one by one. To prevent this spread, America got directly involved in the war. The beginning of the 1960s. The situation inside Vietnam was becoming terrible. The South Vietnamese government was weak, corrupt, and there was no public support. This opportunity created a powerful guerrilla force, the Viet Cong. But now the question may arise, who are the Viet Cong really? They were people from South Vietnam, but they were supporters of North Vietnam. Their goal was one, to unify all of Vietnam under communist rule. Later, they were the ones who actually cut America's throats. Why was America so afraid of them? The Viet Cong did not fight directly. They used tunnels hidden in the jungle, sudden attacks, hit-and-run booby traps. They mostly used guerrilla warfare methods. Divided into small groups, they used surprise attacks, secret bases, minefields, and they carried out small attacks. They mainly fought in hidden places such as jungles, rural areas, and tunnel systems, so that it was difficult for the enemy to find them. They were well known for their tunnel system. They built secret tunnels, which were hiding places, weapons depots, and even hospitals. They would break up into small groups and attack suddenly, such as at night in villages or directly on the road. This camouflage, surprise attacks, and quick escapes gave them a great advantage, especially to American and South Vietnamese soldiers. This also put the modern American military in danger. In 1964, the North Vietnamese attacked the USS Maddox. Although this incident is much debated, but using it as an excuse, the U.S. Congress authorized full-scale military operations in Vietnam. As a result, the war took a terrible turn. Then America began a massive bombing campaign that we called Operation Rolling Thunder. Operation Rolling Thunder was a massive U.S. air campaign that lasted from 1965 to 1968 in Vietnam. It targeted communist targets in South Vietnam, particularly supply lines, and industrial and military installations in North Vietnam. However, it was highly controversial, as it also caused many civilian casualties and the war had mixed results. The American military then became increasingly frustrated and tried to change its style of warfare, either because it was inevitable or because it was becoming increasingly dangerous wherever it went. It then began to prepare to change its style of warfare. After that, America actually began to change its style of warfare, because Rolling Thunder was not very effective. Later, they shifted more towards ground warfare, such as all-out war campaigns and sending in large numbers of troops. However, Even that change did not have much of a positive impact on the nature and outcome of the war.
In early 1975, North Vietnam began to quickly capture one city after another. South Vietnamese defenses collapsed, chaos broke out among the troops, and many people began to flee. Then in April, the final advance on the capital, Saigon, began. On April 30, 1975, North Vietnamese tanks entered Saigon and reached the presidential palace. South Vietnam surrendered. This event is called the Fall of Saigon. This ended the Vietnam War, and North and South Vietnam later united to form Socialist Vietnam. In April 1975, the capital backhand index pointing right Saigon completely surrounded North Vietnam. Backhand index pointing right. Then historical events happened. Backhand index pointing right. Fall of Saigon. People were evacuated by helicopter to the American embassy. Thousands of people tried to escape. Complete occupation of the city. Vietnam was unified. In 1976, backhand index pointing right. North and South were united to form the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. Backhand index pointing right. The entire country went under communist rule. Chart decreasing. Big blow for America. This war was for America. Massive military failure. 58,000 plus soldiers killed. Economic losses. People's confidence decreased. Crying face. Human cost. In this war, millions of Vietnamese killed. Villages destroyed. Families broken up. Backhand index pointing right. Even though the war ended, the pain remained. Globe showing Europe-Africa impact on the world. After this war, America became wary of engaging in direct wars in the future. The world understood. You can't win with power alone. Even small countries can stand up to big powers. This war is not just the story of one country. Backhand index pointing right. It showed how powerful courage is, and how destructive war is. The Vietnam War proved war never brings true victory. It leaves only destruction and a hard lesson of history.